Formula One is heading back to the Miami Grand Prix. But this time, it's not just another race weekend. Something bigger is building beneath the surface. Behind the scenes, teams are preparing what could be the biggest performance shift of the entire season. Because what we're about to witness in Miami isn't just a round of upgrades, it's potentially a full reset of the competitive order. After the opening races, one thing became impossible to ignore. Mercedes has rediscovered something they were missing: consistency. Not just raw speed, but control. Their race execution has been clean, their strategy sharp, and most importantly, their car has become predictable. In modern Formula One, that kind of stability is everything. It allows drivers to push harder, trust the car more, and deliver under pressure. And right now, that's exactly what Mercedes has over the rest of the field, but Formula One never stays static. The moment one team becomes the benchmark, every other team begins hunting. Ferrari and Red Bull, in particular, have been quietly preparing for this exact moment. For weeks, development has been happening behind closed doors, new floor concepts designed to increase downforce without adding drag, updated sidepods to improve airflow efficiency, and subtle aerodynamic tweaks that could unlock tenths of a second per lap. And in Formula One, a few tenths is the difference between leading the race or fighting just to stay in the top 5. These aren't cosmetic changes. These are fundamental upgrades that can redefine how a car behaves on track, and Miami is where teams have chosen to reveal them. The Miami circuit is unlike many others on the calendar. It's a track that punishes weakness immediately. Long straights demand low drag and strong engine performance. Tight, technical sections require precision, balance, and mechanical grip. And then there's the heat, relentless, unforgiving heat that pushes cooling systems to their absolute limits. Every component of the car is tested here. If your aerodynamic package isn't efficient, you lose time on the straights. If your setup isn't stable, you struggle in the corners. And if your cooling system isn't perfect, your race can fall apart within laps. There is no hiding in Miami. That's exactly why teams see this race as a turning point. It's not just about bringing upgrades. It's about proving them under extreme conditions. If a car performs well here, it sends a message to the entire grid. And now, the paddock is starting to talk. There are early indications, quiet whispers from within teams, that these upgrades could be more effective than expected. Some believe the gap to Mercedes could shrink dramatically, almost overnight. And if that happens, we're not just talking about a closer field. We're talking about the beginning of a completely new championship battle, because once performance levels converge, everything else becomes the deciding factor. Strategy suddenly carries more weight. Pit stop execution becomes critical. Driver skill, racecraft, and mental strength start to define outcomes. For Ferrari, this could be the opportunity they've been waiting for. Their season so far has been a mix of promise and frustration, strong qualifying pace but inconsistency during races. Tire degradation has often held them back when it mattered most, but if their upgrades address even part of that weakness, they transform instantly. From contenders on Saturday to genuine threats on Sunday, Red Bull, on the other hand, thrives in moments like this. They are known for aggressive development and bold decisions. When they bring upgrades, they rarely play it safe. And historically, when Red Bull finds performance, it comes in bursts, sudden, decisive, and difficult for rivals to respond to. If they've unlocked something new for Miami, even a small gain could shift the balance of power. But there's another side to this story: the risk. Upgrades in Formula One are never guaranteed to work. In fact, sometimes they do the opposite. Teams can spend months developing new components only to arrive at the track and discover unexpected issues. Balance problems, unpredictable handling, or setups that simply don't translate from simulation to reality. And when that happens, the consequences are immediate. Lap times drop, confidence disappears, and suddenly, a team that expected to move forward finds itself going backward. Miami doesn't give teams time to recover. If something isn't working, decisions have to be made quickly. Do you commit to the new package and try to fix it? Or do you revert to the old setup and accept the lost opportunity? These are high-pressure calls, and they can define the outcome of an entire race weekend. Then there's the psychological battle. If Mercedes begins to feel real pressure from behind, the dynamic changes instantly. Strategy becomes more aggressive. Teams start taking risks they wouldn't normally consider. Drivers push beyond their limits. And that's when mistakes start to happen. A slightly late braking point, a risky overtake attempt, a strategy gamble that doesn't pay off. This is where championships begin to shift, not just through speed, but through pressure. And that's why Miami matters so much, because if even one team gets everything right, if their upgrades deliver, if their setup works, if their drivers execute perfectly, it could trigger a chain reaction across the entire season. Momentum in Formula One is powerful. Once a team finds it, confidence builds, development accelerates, and results start to follow. And for their rivals, catching up becomes increasingly difficult. So when people say this race could mark the beginning of a new championship, it's not just hype, it's a real possibility. Because all it takes is one breakthrough, one upgrade package that works exactly as intended, one weekend where everything comes together. One moment where the balance of power shifts, and once that happens, the season changes. So as Formula One returns to Miami, don't just watch the race. Watch the details, watch the cars, the pace, the consistency. Because what happens here might not just decide a winner for this weekend. It might decide the direction of the entire 2026 championship. And if that shift begins in Miami, we could be witnessing the true start of a brand new title fight.